And barely 24 hours after the Federal Executive Council meeting, another major executive gathering, the National Economic Council meeting, has been summoned by the presidency. The meeting, presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, has most of the governors in attendance. The meeting, which ended at about 4:50 p.m., discussed the lingering fuel scarcity and the need for state authorities to pay salaries. Also discussed were strategies to boost Nigeria's reserves in the federal crude account and then the power challenges in the country. The National Economic Council held its retreat in March. The March retreat, according to the Vice President, was to provide a forum for in-depth discussions on policy actions that the states and the federal government could consider in order to stimulate local production, cut costs and enhance public revenues, among other measures to stimulate the economy. The NEC comprises the 36 state governors, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and other co-opted members. The NEC is chaired by the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. Meanwhile, the president has affirmed plans by his administration to compile comprehensive data on all internally displaced persons and Nigerian refugees as part of efforts to hasten their resettlement. While receiving the United States Permanent Representative to the United Nations, Ambassador Samantha Power, at the presidential villa, President Muhammadu Buhari explained the compilation of reliable data on the IDPs and refugees is being handled by designated federal government agencies. President Buhari said there are frightening indices of the number of people and the situation in the IDP camps across the country, and in spite of government's efforts and the hospitality of individuals and organizations, the situation needs better handling. On her part, Ambassador Power commended the federal government for efforts being made to rebuild the Northeast.
It is very fair to say that the issue of abductions and kidnappings by Boko Haram of the Chibok girls and of all who have been taken is a huge priority for the United States, and it's one we discussed at length with President Buhari in the meeting from which the ambassador and I have just come. I think that, as you know, we have, from the very beginning of this crisis, moved to provide the information and intelligence that we have to the Nigerian authorities. We have in recent months been able to allocate additional information sharing platforms, additional surveillance. The way that works is that the information and the intelligence works best and most effectively for the people of the countries in the region when our partners are acting on the ground effectively. And we will not rest. We will continue to deepen our partnership, and the more effective our partners on the ground become in pursuing the security, the economic, and the political all at once, I think the more success we are going to have. And you've seen that in February and March. Thousands of civilians were rescued from the clutches of Boko Haram, and we are determined to support Nigerian and the other countries' efforts to secure more rescues and more releases in the days and weeks ahead.